Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of WHF Talks.Live. We are with Her Excellency Maria Juliana Ruiz, First Lady of Colombia, and it is such an honor for me to conduct this interview today with such an inspirational figure. We will be touching upon important topics as always, and I would like to welcome Her Excellency. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Maria, thank you so much. It is actually my honor and my pleasure to be participating in this World Humanitarian Forum Talks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of this conversation, really, at this very timely period that we are going through. I would like to start with my first question to you. Early childhood nutrition is a topic which you have worked on substantially, and you've also received praise from the Director General of FAO. Can you outline for our audience your work in this area, along why it is vitally important?
Sure, thank you so much. First, I probably need to say that it all comes from a very personal and holistic perception of nourishment more than nutrition. And it's because I love the concept of nourishment because it applies to both the physical food needs, giving the body the resources it needs to function properly, and at the same time it really fulfills the spiritual and emotional well-being. It's just like, for me, a concept that tackles both very essential aspects of the human being. So because when I think what it really means to nourish from the soul side is really becoming fulfilled through letting in things which affect you positively. And that for me is essential in the process of development. So I conceive nutrition from that perspective. And I've been working on those two lines of actions, which is nourishing the body and nourishing the soul. And definitely this process begins when you're conceived, as a very natural process, and that's the reason why I really emphasize in early childhood. So I don't know if you would like to hear a little more about it and which are the main objectives that we're chasing after those two lines of actions, nourishing the body and nourishing the soul. So let me know if I can continue sharing all my views.
Yes, please do so. They are very important topics, especially nutrition. And my next question is going to be about food security, but it will be great to dive into nutrition a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, so in the nourishing of the body, and actually thanks to the Great Alliance for Nutrition, and I would love you to remember this Great Alliance for Nutrition, which is actually led by the Presidential Advisory Office for Childhood and Adolescence, we were able to place nutrition as a key element in the national agenda. So that is the reason why for me is really important. It's the first time that we speak nutrition in all the different institutions across the national agenda. So it gathers the public, private sectors, academia, civil society, international cooperation, and it actually focuses on two main objectives that for me are critical, and is fighting and hopefully eradicating malnutrition in children. And the second one is like the continuing of it, and is strengthening food security at home and promoting healthy habits in family environments. So that for us gives us a complete perception of nourishing the body, because you're not only aiming to rescue those kids at risk, but also providing tools for them to continue on the safe side. And then in the other line of action, we are working actually with the National Alliance to End Violence Against Children, that was launched by President Duque and followed by Colombia joining the Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children that you probably know. And Colombia joined this organization as a pathfinding country, which for us represents a lot. And what we want here is to ensure that besides getting a balanced nutrition, children are growing up in a safe, stable, and loving environment, with for us represents equal opportunities for development in a creative and hopefully a very innovative context. So that for us has been like a very decided, devoted work. We are happy and motivated with the results. That doesn't mean we are achieving our goals yet, but we're definitely working hard to put Colombia on that track for hopefully 2030. So there's also something that for me has been especially important, and is that I've been working with all my flagships, always thinking on the territory. So I've been leading with the first ladies of the territory of Colombia, which means more or less 32 states, a national cause of zero tolerance to any form of violence against children. And that has been really representative on what has been working on, considering the different perspectives and even the idiosyncrasy that we have in the different 32 states. So we are all following and chasing one cause, and is to really fight violence against children.
It is fantastic to know all our great initiatives, and we really would like to promote as much as we can. I know Colombia is doing a lot for the global goals and for the greater good in the last years. So congratulations on these initiatives as well as the others. You're definitely leading the world in a way. You mentioned about nutrition and food security, and COVID-19 unfortunately exacerbated everything. What has been the impact of COVID-19 into your initiatives as well as food security and nutrition?
You know what? I must say we are, or we were probably lucky on having worked previously on nutrition, because we already had gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding of the social problem of nutrition and nurturing our people. So probably I would say that there were two things that we implemented that could be the more relevant one at the light of COVID, as a response to COVID in terms of nutrition. But at the same time, I have to say that when I said that we were lucky by having worked previously on nutrition, is because that really gave us a very effective perception of what we need to do in order to prevent hunger, to add up to a health issue as the pandemic. So the two main things that I would probably highlight were two programs. First is the plan Ni Uno Más, which basically means, or is translated as not a single one more, or something like that. But it is actually, once again, an effort to respond to infant mortality due to malnutrition from a very multi-sectoral perspective. And we were able to do it actually thank you to the ICBF, which is the National Institution for Family Wellbeing. That would be probably the right translation. And what we did is, through institutional alliances and agreements, we worked to allow those different institutions to identify quickly the children under 8 years old facing malnutrition and ensuring their nutritional recovery. We basically worked as a preventive stage, and that for me is very important, which is working before things happen. And we actually call it a búsqueda activa. I don't know actually how I would translate that, but it's the institutions and it's the civil society who's really like starting the alert on here we might have a risk. So basically, while ensuring the nutritional recovery of the children, we were also working on a very structured process to monitoring them closely by experts and helping their families overcome the situation and warranting access to institutional services. So once again, we did a really good work. We understand and we know we're still working on that, but there are a couple of things that for us were very motivating. And I would probably share a fact with you, and is that in 2020, we had a significant decrease of over 35% in the notifications of deaths associated or due to malnutrition in children under 5 years old. So that, under a pandemic perspective, was a real achievement for us. At least we felt it that way. Yeah. And then the second one, program or action that I would probably highlight is one that comes from my heart. It was a personal initiative, and we developed it from my office and gathering and putting together and summon devotion and interest from many parts. And it's called Ayudarnos hace bien, and is more or less helping feels good. So during the pandemic, there was something that for me was clear, and is that partnerships have proved to play a key role in accelerating coordinating responses. And that is very aligned to the way I've been working on, and is through partnerships and promoting partnerships. So in this case, through a solidarity strategy that brought together government entities, once again, private sector, NGOs, and citizens at large, we were able to raise more than 1 million food baskets. And these food baskets were not a minor thing. These were food baskets with a complete nutritional balanced products. These were nutritional baskets, actually, that will fulfill the needs of a family of at least 4 members for at least a month or a month and a week. So it was really a very rich action that we were putting in the rail, and it was to really get, and actually we trace a very high expectation, and it was to get to the 32 states in Colombia and reach the most vulnerable population. And we did it in 4 months, the critical months of the pandemic, where quarantine was at the top. So it was a very nurturing process even for us, because we were able to reach those families in need, not only with these food baskets, but I was also even visiting personally the communities, traveling around the country with a team, of course, with all the biosecurity rules and processes and taking care of everybody. But we were able to reach the people and come up not only with nutrients, but also with nourishment for them, which was very, actually even heart moving for me. So a couple of facts from that action was that we were able to get to something around 38,000 donors showing their solidarity around the country. It was a very moving action as well, because we were able to engage civil society, and they were engaged from their humanity, which is generosity, solidarity. Everybody was feeling scared. Everybody was feeling in need even to save money, save nutrients, save food, save everything. But nonetheless, they were willing to give as well. So that was very motivating. Very motivating. And I'm truly convinced of the positive impact of investing in nutrition in our countries. Because for me, there's something that is clear, that is sometimes very difficult to see or to understand, but is that there is a direct impact. And for me, a direct line between nutrition, inversion, and investment in nutrition, and a direct impact on social and economic development. So that's why for me it's really important to understand that feeling. Actually, with Ayudarnos hace bien, we were able to reach something around 68 million portions of food given to the whole country. And we were able to impact somehow a little bit I would say probably around 4 million people in the country, which for us was once again a very emotional, motivational, and inspiring situation to continue working on nutrition.
Those are great stories, in a grim virus environment. These are just very nourishing stories. Thanks for sharing, Your Excellency. You mentioned a couple of times partnerships, and in WHF we are promoting cross-sector partnerships as well. And I know that you are Colombia's ambassador for UN SDG 17, which is the partnership for the goals. What actions have you led to exert that leadership?
Well, actually, I would say that most of my work has been defined under that concept of SDG 17, which is really working under the concept of partnerships. And as I said before, how they can really help to facilitate, to accelerate, and to really be able to tackle effectively the social needs. So when I first assumed as First Lady of Colombia, I defined my role in the light of SDG 17, because I thought that was, once you get here, you have no rules, no rule book. So that was for me a good route to follow. So I actually defined it because I understand there were two capacities that you actually acquire once you become First Lady that could be used in order to respond at the same time to the SDG 17. And those two responsibilities that I identified were advocacy and convening. Those for me translate partnerships. So for that reason, I have the honor of serving Colombia as Goodwill Ambassador for SDG 17. And I think it definitely speaks of what I really value, and is the multi-stakeholder partnerships that bring together the contributions of governments, businesses, civil society, so everybody can feel part of a solution. And at the same time, there's also something that for me has been truly a must, I would say, and is to connect. I definitely believe on connections, on real connections. So it's essential to connect the sectors and encourage the creation of organic alliances that benefit all parts that are involved in any processes. And I also believe that through social governance, we understand that. And in order to progress and evolve, we need to start thinking collectively as a whole, as a human community, and that our current problems and challenges are really complex, and we need to understand that, and we need to involve and engage and commit and participate and involve different actors, with two main things in between that for me are also critical. And is to assume, for me, I don't know if this is a word, a concept, or just a way of living, but it's being co-responsible. So if we do not understand that we are part of a whole and that we need to complement each other, it's going to be really tough, and it's going to take us a lot to really reach effective and efficient solutions. So for me, co-responsibility and co-creation are now the words we need to be chasing in order to find solutions. So I probably this resumes what it means to be, for me at least, an ambassador for SDG 17.
Yes, definitely, Your Excellency. And we have been discussing with the impact of COVID-19, not all the SDGs would be achieved by 2023 maybe, but there were some key ones that would accelerate and open the door to others. And definitely SDG 17 is one of them. And thank you so much for your commitment into this SDG. I personally believe also that it is one of the key pillars of the SDGs, definitely. Another point I would like to touch on is leaving no one behind. And it's another critical issue that needs to be considered widely in the international community's response to the SDGs. You have been implementing a program which aims to support young people in Colombia, aiming to create 140 innovative learning centers and reach over 400,000 beneficiaries by 2022. Which also falls in line with your commitment to promote the development for young Colombians. Can you give more information on what this program is, why it is important, and what are the current challenges to its implementation?
Sure. The program is called Sacúdete, which basically means like shake yourself. I will later on probably go deeply into the strategy itself, but I must start by saying that fortunately our government is a government that has youth as a paramount priority. So thanks to the common efforts of, once again, the states and the private sector and different sectors, we were able to increase considerably the executive and operational capacity of the government itself for the youth. And what we really want is to create an ecosystem of policies, agendas, programs, actions for the youth. And the word that reunites and resume all that is called Sacúdete. So Sacúdete is basically a strategy that was designed to drastically change the youth panorama in our country. It really aims to ensure actions to mobilize youth and to make them become effective agents of change. I truly believe on the potential of the youth. I've always said that if there's a moment in life when you're really able to change, to move others, to inspire, and to take action, is the youth. So that's what we are looking for, to really see the youth in Colombia being a true and a real agent of change, and with a very specific impact, and is to become a positive inspiration for others. We really want the youth to be the one that is promoting equality and closing gender gaps and promoting the climate change agenda, but from a very active perspective. So you were mentioning also the pandemic and how all these things had worked on with Sacúdete. And something really weird happened, and is that just as this global pandemic urges us as well, it urges Sacúdete at the same time as a training program. And it actually turns the view of the youth towards a different goal, and is developing skills and talents from the fourth industrial revolution, or at least what we have framed under the fourth industrial revolution, focus on resilience, including actions on creativity, collaboration, critical capacities, communication, which for me, once again, is really important, and activating curiosity, because that's the only way we can really motivate the youth to build self-confidence and reach relations and exchanges between among them and between different generations at the same time. Because I do believe that there's also something that we usually leave apart when we mention the youth, and is that we kind of block them. And the truth is that they are actually a link. For me, the youth is the link between the past and the future. So that's probably one of the reasons why for me the youth became really important in terms of human development. And I would probably highlight something on Sacúdete, and is that our mission is to provide the conditions for the youth to be more connected to the world and to the needs, the real needs, and develop a sense of awareness and commitment to protect all the things that they tend to be very reactive to things. So we want them to be active to things and protect the environment and ensure others people's rights and overall actually get that positive impact on their communities, starting with their groups and make them those bigger impact in the whole community. So it was something that I should highlight as well in terms of how the COVID has affected, and is that for some reason, even through the pandemic, in 2020, we were able to reach more than 104,000 beneficiaries since we started. So it was really motivating once again to see this youth being touched by a new program, being touched by a specific program. I also would like to highlight that this is the first time in Colombia that we have a public perception of the youth, actions and programs specifically designed for the youth, to work with the youth, for the youth, and to have the youth as a key element for social and economic development. There are another couple of things probably that I would like to share quickly about the strategy so you can get a notion of it. And is that I already said that it works through disruptive methodologies with this focus on the fourth industrial revolution abilities. But it is also very aligned with the new economies and how we can engage a little bit more the women, for example, how we can make those young women to engage in different careers, different talents, discover different abilities that usually we tend to have aside. We designed the process having in mind three phases. The first one is inspire, in which we look for the beneficiaries to build confidence in themselves by discovering and fostering their passions. Second phase is engage, and we're also looking for the beneficiaries to drive their passions towards creativity, life projects, focus on identifying and drafting solutions to social challenges. That for us is also a major thing, and is solutions to social challenges. Is the youth the one who can change the way we resolve and we present solutions to all problems? So this is really important for us. And the third phase is transform, where we expect the beneficiaries to become those real agents to build up a community network of change and prepare them actually to follow one of what we call the 3 E's, which are entrepreneurship, employment, or education. Why those 3 E's? Because I definitely believe that those are 3 paths for success from an economic and from a social perspective as well.
Your Excellency, all are great and impressive initiatives, I should say, and it gives just hope and optimism, and it is the thing that we have been really trying to push forward. We are coming through really critical times as the humanity all around the world, and it is the year of hope, 2021, as we call it. And you just lead by example. I'm so happy and I'm so honored that we had this conversation today. To be honest, I don't have any words left to express my feelings, and I'm sure that our audience will just love this conversation. It's all about optimism and hope. Thank you so much, really, for being part of this discussion and interview today. I'm going to address you my last question, which is what would be your final words, final message to the youth all around the world, to our audience, and your message about this year of hope?
I would probably go once again towards something you've heard before during this conversation, is that in the midst of the current health and social crisis they're facing, we should mobilize our joint efforts to prevent the people from losing touch, from disconnecting. And on the contrary, we must work hard and reach out to our deepest and most sincere humanity to establish solidarity and empathy as our core principles. I do believe that we need to connect more in real life than virtually. And therefore, as thought leaders and as inspirational figures involved in decision making processes, we have an enormous responsibility to re-evaluate and innovate in ways to protect, to grant, and uh, to nurture people, especially young people, and to probably give them access to healthy and prosperous environments for their growth and development.
Thank you so much. As I said, it has been a great conversation. And the most important thing for me is that I could feel that optimism, and your initiatives are driving results and impact. So it is just something that we really need to push for the rest of the world as well, not for Colombia, but for the rest of the world. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you so much for this invitation.
It was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.